Philadelphia, and this is College Gymnastics on ESPN. As we welcome you inside McGonigal Hall, it is quad meet action on this Sunday evening. The Temple Owls get ready to welcome NC State, George Washington, and Penn to North Philadelphia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Kopp alongside former Temple gymnast Lauren Capone. Lauren, always exciting when you get four teams. Three of them are Eagle teams that will compete against each other for a conference championship. If you can believe this, less than a month from now, we're officially in the home stretch of the 2023 season. George Washington, NC State, and Temple will head to New Hampshire for the Eagle Championships on March 18th, and Penn will get ready to defend its GEC title. So there is a lot at stake here with less than a month left in the regular season.
Absolutely. It's always great to be back here in McGonigal Hall, and, you know, there's no shortage of competition across these four teams tonight. I feel like there's always a little bit of Philadelphia pride on the line between Penn and Temple, and then obviously we've got three awesome Eagle teams going head-to-head, if you will, over on the rest of the events, with Temple at home, kind of coming off a meet on Friday night against some of these teams here, kind of repeat action just 2 days later. Yeah, Temple and GW could have carpooled up I-95 after that one wrapped down in D.C. on Friday night. And let's start there, Lauren. Really a mixed bag for Temple. And interestingly, they come in, of the four teams tonight, ranked the lowest, number 51 in the country. Now, we have to give a little asterisk to that. We're going to get into the difference between score average and NQS, but right now, the rankings are determined by just a straight average of scores. Temple is still carrying some low ones, but they've got a lot of meets left, including tonight. They've got 7 meets left this season to help bump up that NQS. 51 is nowhere near where they want to be. Obviously, when you get an opportunity to compete on your home floor, home equipment, that's a great chance to post a good score and improve that number. Absolutely, and from what we've seen, it's, you know, one event is really dragging things down. So if they can really put a complete meet together, get all four events to go 6 for 6 and really bulk up those scores as much as they can, I think they'll feel really good going into that final month stretch, where, as you mentioned, Kevin, they have a ton of opportunities to pad their NQS score and work their way up both the Eagle rankings and the regional and national rankings. Yeah, it was a bit of a monkey's paw night on Friday night because Temple solved that floor issue but came at the expense of having a horrible night on beam. They're obviously going to try to put both of those together, but they will begin here as the home team on vault, moving in Olympic order, and senior Maddie Brooks will lead off the competition for Temple. Shogo, nice Yurchenko full, really nice in the air, and just a little hop back. It's a really great way to start a lineup.
All right, tonight is a quad meet. All four teams will be in competition simultaneously, and so we will be keeping our eyes and ears on a swivel, and we'll be bringing you quad box action tonight, so you can choose your own adventure. You've got Temple there on vault in the top left of your screen. On the uneven bars, NC State top right, bottom left. George Washington getting their evening underway on balance beam, and then Penn will begin momentarily on floor exercise. A little tougher to distinguish the teams tonight. It's a pink meet, so everyone's in the pink Leos, and we'll do our best to keep identifying the teams for you as we go. But right now, on balance beam for George Washington is sophomore Sarah Zoyce. And Lauren, since we just saw Temple and GW on Friday night, I had the chance to head down to DC, check that one out in person, and boy, the GW, they put together a great meet. Season high score, 195.875. They really knocked it out on floor and bars, and excited to keep an eye on them this evening as they try to crack into the top 36. NC State, currently ranked 28th in the country, now underway on bars. Kaylee Adamitis is on the uneven bars in the top right of your screen.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Sarah over on beam from GW did lead off on Friday as well and hit a 9.675, so probably a score they'd even want to see improve with this meet, which she's off to a good start, sticking that round off double twist landing over on beam. Things are looking good over on the start there for GW.
And now getting started on floor for Penn is Carly Oniki. Now you see Renee Shugman there, top left of your screen with the second vault for Temple.
Yeah, she does that really nice Yurchenko half. Great position in the air. She actually did not vault on Friday, so good to see her back in the lineup She's been a real big mainstay there for a long time, so great to see her back.
Yeah, double meet weekend, especially on the leg events. Vault and floor is where you're going to see some changes in the lineup. You've just got to protect everyone's health and well-being this time of year, Lauren, as you know.
Yeah, at the age of 20, they are fragile.
I thought you were referring to yourself at the age of 20-something.
Yeah, 20-something. Thank you for that kind estimate. Penn looking really strong on floor. Back 1.5 layout.
Obviously so important, these leadoff routines, in a quad, Zoyce especially on beam, such a make or break. I always think the toughest draw to have to open your night on balance beam here, especially with all the chaos and commotion of a quad meet. You've got a great crowd here in McGonigle as well, and trying to block all that out and keep it going now for George Washington after a hit routine by Sarah Zoyce that scored a very nice 9.825. Up second is Kendall Whitman. Second on bars is Peyton Childs.
Yeah. Childs is going to look to have a really nice routine here. I know that their leadoff had not a fall, but a couple little blunders over on bars for NC State, so trying to get things back on track with some solid hits. And it looks like this one's going to do it. Blindfold double tuck. College stuck landing, as one would say.
A little shuffle on the salute there, and good to get that hit routine in the second position from Child. Sophia Obregon, Lex Ortega, Emily Shepard, and Lauren Rutherford round off the bars lineup for NC State.
And we'll try to call as many scores as we see pop up as things go on here, but we'll obviously make sure to catch you guys up as things go.
Third vault now for Temple.
Another Yurchenko full, grabs a stick. Teammates are going absolutely nuts. That was a really, really nice Yurchenko full. She got enough height, distance off the table, spotted the landing, and was able to really hold on to it.
Yeah, that was Anna Hill up third for Temple, so they're halfway through their vault lineup. Charlie Boehner, Mackenzie Aresta, and freshman all-arounder Ashley Glynn, who made her debut in the all-around on Friday night, will be in the anchor position on vault for the Owls.
Yeah, and Ashley does have the ability to do a Yurchenko 1.5, which in the current kind of state of points is one of the only vaults that can get you that 10-0 start value that everybody's looking for. So I'm not sure if she will be doing it this evening or not, but has trained it, I think, put it out there in competition before.
All right, up second on floor exercise for Penn is Alyssa Rosen. And meanwhile, third on bars now for NC State is Sophia Obregon.
Huge release to kick things off. Bailed a handstand down to the low bar. Really nice routine, double layout, just a small step, a solid hit. If I'm being nitpicky, a couple shy handstands. But as these teams get tighter and tighter into the season, those are the things that are gonna really start to add up and matter when it comes to trying to get wins and get yourself in the best position for postseason.
And folks, one of those take notice gymnasts right now will try to call out here because there is so much happening at once. On beam, Deja Chambliss, your reigning Eagle Gymnast of the Year. She's in the all-around tonight, and she is absolutely spectacular for GW.
Yeah, she started off with that beautiful handspring layout step-out series.
Meanwhile, Charlie Boehner, top left of your screen, Yurchenko layout, full good distance for the freshman. Not back on the landing, but impressive height and amplitude off the table.
Yeah, and she's got really, nice lines, which I think is sometimes hard to do on vault. Such a powerful event. She makes it look really graceful.
We're going to see her in exhibition on floor, so she's trying to work her way into that lineup as well. But absolutely agreed as Rosen finishes up second for Penn on floor. We get a chance to focus on Chambliss top left. Or excuse me, bottom left.
It's like a game of Tetris.
That's right.
But really great beam set. All I really caught was a little tiny hop on that extremely difficult dismount. She went 2 back handsprings to a double twist and just had the hop. So nice start to the day for her. And yeah, she is still leading the pack really in the Eagle. Yeah. She does do the all-around, and I think we'll see really, really nice stuff from her this evening.
NCAA qualifier in the all-around last year as well. As you get a look at that double layout dismount, cold stick for Lex Ortega. Great finish to that routine for NC State.
That one I will call an official stick.
That's the no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, 2 vaulters left for Temple. Junior Mackenzie Aresta and freshman Ashley Glynn. And Aresta is ready to go here for the Owls. Season best 9.775. Would love for that to tick up this evening.
Another Yurchenko full, really nice, really squeezed those legs together on that landing, and that hop was small, but it was very controlled, and her body shape looked awesome from our perspective. So yeah, I think that we'll see a pretty good score from over there. We haven't gotten a peek at any vault scores from our angle. Yeah,
they're not as kind as we'd love them to be showcasing them, but I can catch you up on them here. Madison Brooks, 9.775. Renee Shugman, 9.775. Anna Hill, 9.8. That's the high score so far. And Charlie Boehner, 9.775. So Aresta, I imagine, is going to be right in that zone. And one left, Ashley Glynn, as we go back to balance beam. Up fourth for George Washington is Annalise Silverman. Meanwhile, on the bars right now for NC State, Emily Shepard.
Single bar release was caught, but a little close. Making some adjustments. Beautiful pack salto down to the low bar.
Up third on floor right now for Penn, Emma Davies.
Just gearing up for dismount on bars. Beautiful. And a stick. Made up some there for that close catch on the single bar release.
Speaking of sticks, Emma Davies, just a stone cold stick, 2 feet on that double pike. Really nice opening pass.
And that is so difficult to do. The girls are allowed, you know, the one-step, controlled step out of those floor passes with no deduction.
Yeah, just like you see there on the second pass.
Exactly. But to stick anything on floor like that is certainly going to go a long way for some wow points.
And a little hop by Silverman on that gainer full dismount. Meanwhile, a big bounce out of that Yurchenko 1.5. Glynn going for it and just not able to land it cleanly, unfortunately, for Temple. You see the power, how far she gets from the table.
Yeah, and it's huge. She's got all of the right pieces. The body shape in the air is really great. I think she's just going to have to do some, extra drills on the landing, finding the right spot. Obviously, it's always different as a freshman coming into the competitive environment and learning how to navigate your own skills. Final pass over there on floor. A little bit of a low chest, but makes it all the way around, and another stick for Penn on floor.
So Temple now done on vault. They really love that 9.775 number put up for them. Aresta went 9.775 as well. We'll see what the final score is for Glynn, excuse me. The only factor there is that it is a 10-0 start, so you get that extra half-tenth cushion to start those deductions from, but I think given the kind of step and a half out of it, that is likely to be the drop score for Temple. But we'll see what the judges do. And we come back to bars now for NC State. Up sixth, Lauren Rutherford.
Huge single bar release. You saw her full body was extended when she caught. That is definitely what you want to see for those single bar release moves. She's putting a lot of these skills together to collect those bonus points. Gearing up for the dismount double A. A tiny bit under-rotated, just a step forward, a really clean routine. I think that they should be happy with the way that rotation is going over there on bars thus far.
Yeah, they're in very good shape. You can see the scores now come up as we have room to show them to you. NC State taking just a hair under a 49 right now, and that's kind of the magic number. You put 4 of those together, you get a 196, which is a good spot to be in. As we look at beam now for GW, on the beam is Rachel Katz.
Yeah, so far, high score over on bars. Ortega did hit that 9.9 mark. We saw that cold stick. Well-deserved there. And over on beam, they have a pair of 9.825s and a 9.8. So moving along pretty well on that event for them as well.
Yeah, so we expect with that score from Rutherford, NC State's going to drop their low score of 9.725 and likely tick above that 49 mark. And you're getting ready to see an exhibition routine, it looks like, on bars. Teams will be taking advantage of the ability to put an exhibition routine out there tonight. Won't count toward the team score. And for NC State here on bars, that is going to be Madeline Reed. And getting ready to go fourth for Penn on floor is Sarah Kennefic.
So far for Penn, their number 2 spot, Rosen, hit a 9.825 as their leading score. Thinking they want to build upon that. Davies clocked in at a 9.55, so looking at the back half of their lineup, they'll probably look to drop that score, ideally. Back 2.5 punched front, got that around. Very impressive pass with high difficulty.
All right, and on the beam now is the anchor for George Washington. That is Marley York.
Triple series over on beam. Handspring layout of 2 feet landing, which a little bit different. You see a lot of handspring layout step outs. So it was nice to see a little variety.
And a good finish there after an issue in the exhibition routine on bars for NC State. That is Madeline Reed.
Really nice second pass over there on floor. Cleanly done. Taking advantage of that opportunity for floor to use, if you have enough bonus, you only have to do 2 passes, which no one ever told me, and I was winded.
The Coda points caught up to you just a little too late.
Yeah. Round off back 1.5 on beam, just a hop, really clean routine to close out. An awesome start for George Washington over on the bounce beam.
Yeah, excellent job by GW. They've got 3 scores, as Lauren mentioned, in that 9.825 range. Zoyce to open the meet with a 9.825, Whitman 9.825, Chambliss 9.8, Silverman 9.825, Katz a 9.6. So that's the number right now that they're hoping to drop and replace with Marley York's score. And Penn is going to get some time to themselves right now as we'll get to check in with the Quakers on floor. Still 2 competition routines left for Penn here in the first rotation. And, you know, Lauren, you mentioned it as we started off the broadcast tonight, talking about those city bragging rights. And first and foremost, you know, each of these teams really is looking for a great score as we're switching to NQS. Scores are so important. We mentioned Temple's got a few low ones they're trying to drop. Every other team is looking for a big road score, which are heavily influential in counting toward the NQS. But, you know, Penn and Temple want to beat each other. And the fact is that the Quakers right now come in ranked ahead of Temple. They're 47th in the country, 4 spots ahead of Temple in the national rankings. They put up some great 195 plus scores. Kirsten Becker has done an amazing job with this Penn program. They have hit really another level, and they're defending GEC champions. They're the #1 team in the GEC again this year, and you know, they've got things going really in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. They've certainly done a really great job in the last few years and kept things really consistent, trending upwards, really consistent. I competed with Kirsten when she was at Penn, so it's really cool to see her now in the coaching role doing such a great job. She's a great fit for that position, and you know, you can tell she's really, really hitting a stride, and it shows in the way that her team is performing.
All right, up 5th now on floor exercise for Penn is Marissa Lassiter.
And started things off with a front full. Very well done. There's always something kind of fun about when you have sort of the whole arena to yourself, just you and your team, and all eyes are on you. And some people, I think, would take it as pressure, but especially with floor, it's like your chance to show off. So,
and really good floor scores to start for Penn.
Double pike as a second pass, really well done.
High score right now, Alyssa Rosen, 9.825. The low number, a 9.55 from Emma Davies. Kennefic had a 9.65 and Oniki a 9.775 to open the meet. And we will have Olivia Van Horn in the anchor spot following this routine from Lassiter.
Marissa's doing a great job. She's really had a smile on her face the whole time, in addition to doing some really high difficulty, putting together a really nice routine. Setting things up for that anchor spot will be a really nice score, I think.
Well, and really, no one has blinked here in this first rotation, which is everything you want. You want hit routines, and every team has done that. It's a very tight top three right now. We'll see as Penn gets their final two scores in, but of the teams that are complete, I mean, you look at these numbers right now, George Washington is just a tick over a 49, 49.050, 3/4 of a tenth ahead of NC State in second with a 48.975 on bars, 3/4 of a tenth ahead of Temple with a 48.9. So you got your top three teams all within a tenth and a half of each other at the end of one rotation, all hovering around that 49 mark. That's a great spot to be.
100%, and for Temple, the home team, bars and beam have been sort of their stronger pair of events, so I think they'll probably feel really good with what they've set a base with on vault to head over to bars and really try to gain some momentum with such a tight margin between those top two teams. I think Temple would really like to kind of have a little bit of a redemption day from Friday, although, it was really just, it felt like beam kind of put them back on Friday, but I think they'll be able to put something together, take that energy from a home meet.
All right, so getting set now for our final routine before we come to our first break of the evening, and that is going to be Olivia Van Horn on floor. She has had a season best score of 9.825, so the Quakers would love to be able to get some kind of punctuation mark like that at the end of this rotation. And here we go, Van Horn in the anchor spot, our last routine of rotation number 1. Lassiter, by the way, scored a 9.75 with that last routine, so Penn at a 48.550.
Oh, huge double front, ended up over-rotating it a little bit and putting her hands down, and unfortunately that will count as a fall. So she will take all the same tenths that you would get as if she would have, fallen on her bum or otherwise. So that looks like then that 9.55 will be a counting score for the Quakers as Olivia finishes up here.
Yeah, so unfortunately the Quakers won't have a chance to improve on the score that you see on your screen, 48.550. So a bit disappointing. It's a few tenths below their season average on floor, but still very much in the competition at the end of one rotation.
I love that we're seeing that level of difficulty from Penn, though. First pass is arguably one of the hardest you'll see in all of NCAA at any level, any school. And, obviously when she hits it, it scores big. Front full, front layout for her second pass.
All right, so unfortunately for Penn, a bit of an anticlimactic ending to that floor rotation there, and they are going to open in 4th place with a 48.550 at the end of one rotation. GW grabs the lead. That is a season best score for GW on beam, 49.050. They'll head to floor next in the second rotation. Temple moves to bars, NC State to beam, and Penn will move to vault. Let's take a break and come back with the second rotation here from McGonigal Hall after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we said we were going to come back with rotation 2. We were not correct, but the good news is sometimes if there's ever such a thing, Lauren, as a good judging delay, we got one because we get to come back live and bring you this exhibition floor routine for Penn. So we are not yet done with the first rotation. The scoring is done, but we will have a seventh competitor on floor for Penn, and it is going to be Isabella Garrett in exhibition on floor.
Those judging delays can be good and bad. In our case, like you mentioned, good. For the gymnast, perhaps not so good.
Right. Well, she got a little bit of extra time to think about this one.
A back 1.5 layout to kick things off. Really, really well done. Nice lines. Work through her dance series. Obviously, every floor competitor has to put together some leaps and jumps as part of the requirements on floor. Double pike, gets it to her feet, really nicely done. For an exhibition routine, this was really clean. A lot of good control in her landings. Good to see that the Quakers have some good depth over there on floor, especially like we have been talking about going into this second half of the season. Some bodies get tired. It's always good to know that you have some people kind of at the ready to step up and give really good performances, really solid performances that don't detract from sort of your core six on every event.
Yeah, absolutely, and great to see indeed, and we will actually see her one more time in exhibition tonight. So again, Coach Becker testing that depth and seeing where Penn stands. So we'll see Garrett again in exhibition on beam later in the competition. So for right now, as we said, GW grabs the lead at the end of one rotation, 49.050, as George Washington gets ready to head to floor exercise. And Lauren, Margie Foster Cunningham has been at the helm of the GW program. You get a look at her there in her 38th season in DC. I mean, you look at this coaching resume, two-time Southeast Region Coach of the Year, two-time Southern Region Coach of the Year back before those regions were renormed back in the early 90s, four-time Atlantic 10 Coach of the Year, four-time Eagle Coach of the Year, but that doesn't count the fact that they are the defending Eagle champions. They won it on their home floor last year, and with as much talent as there is in this league, you have a resurgent Towson program. You have North Carolina, NC State, all NCAA regional caliber teams. They're right there. They're number 39 in the country. They're the defending champions in the conference, and they want to qualify in that top 36 and get to NCAAs as a team this year.
Absolutely, and we talked about this a little bit before the meet started, but even, as long as I've been following GW, and they have always been a bit of an underrated program. As much as I've seen them, they put together clean routines with high difficulty, and they're always just very well done, with a lot of talent from top to bottom in the lineup. So I think it makes so much sense that they are in the position that they're in, and it's just a matter of whether they can keep it up and also sort of fend off, not that there's any defense in gymnastics necessarily, but the Eagle has become very competitive and very tight, especially this year. So, it's a little bit up to what these other teams do, but if they keep doing what they're doing, I would not be shocked to see them, get to the regional level, maybe make a run there. It would be awesome to see. They're very well deserved.
Yeah, they're sitting 3 spots out of the top 36 right now, number 39 in the country, but they just put up their season high score on Friday night, which hasn't yet factored in, 195.875. They haven't had a meet all year below a 195. They've been consistent, and a little Easter egg there, as Lauren mentioned, difficulty. As GW heads to floor, we're going to get Kendall Whitman's floor routine, which has 3 E-level passes in it. So you want difficulty, they have got it in spades, and they have also got the lead right now with a 49.050 on beam. We are now going to take a break and come back with our second rotation, we promise, as GW heads to floor, NC State to beam, Temple to bars, and Penn to vault. More to come here from McGonigal Hall as we continue. Inside McGonigal Hall, the prep work for what now has become, there you go, you come live to the chaos of the quad meet. A little bit different than it looked on Thursday when all the equipment got loaded in. We've got Lauren, 4 great teams here tonight, and you look at the standings at the end of one rotation. George Washington out in first, the only team to hit that 49 mark in the first rotation. They did it on beam, going 49.050, 3/4 of a tenth ahead of NC State, 48.975. They, in turn, are 3/4 of a tenth over Temple, 48.9, and Penn 3.5 tenths behind Temple for third with a 48.550. But no major mistakes, Lauren, and everyone still very much in this meet at the end of one rotation.
Absolutely, and for Temple as the home team, they maybe would have wanted to hit that 49 score, but they were so close. It really came down to a couple landings and cleaning a couple things up. So they really shouldn't feel too down about it going into uneven bars, which is definitely one of their strongest events of the season or of the year, and just for the team as a whole, they've got great depth on that event as well. So I think we should see good things on that event. But, these other teams are going to keep pushing and keep, bringing their best gymnastics to the day. So I think it's going to continue to be this tight through the rest of these events, barring any major catastrophes from anyone out there on the floor. Yeah,
and they all look locked in right now. George Washington, that is a season-high score on beam. It's also a season-high score for Temple on vault. Their previous season high was a 48.725. We've really focused on floor being the source of the issues for Temple, but they've had a lot of routines to replace on both of the power events, vault and floor. I think they've been a little slower to come around this season, and as we talked with Josh Nielsen, the fifth-year head coach for Temple earlier this week, I think he really was kind of serene about the whole thing, understanding it's a younger team. That's where the majority of the routines that they've had to replace are, and then obviously, consequently, the scoring has been lower, and they've been better on bars and beam where they bring back more returners. It's not that difficult to kind of figure out the source of the issues, and they hope that they can get it corrected the rest of the way.
Absolutely, and having a younger team comes with the exact challenges that you mentioned. It's a little bit more nerves that you have to deal with, a little bit of kind of hesitancy on things when it should be pedal to the metal, full confidence. But if you look at routine to routine across what these teams are doing, Temple has all the pieces. They're doing the skills, they have the difficulty, they have 6 great athletes on every event, and because of that, they'll get it together. It's just a matter of these younger athletes finding their space, finding their confidence, and being able to really hit those routines without those tiny deductions that end up adding up.
All right, let's start things here as we come to our quad box. We've got Temple on bars, top right, and that is Madison Brooks. Bottom right of your screen is Peyton Lynch getting things started for George Washington on floor.
Yeah, right back into the full quad meet chaos. There's a lot of energy. Maddie fought for that stick, but a great hit. Just took a step on that double tuck.
And now we've got our first vaulter for Penn, Alicia Werlin.
Yurchenko full with just a hop back.
And on the beam, Gabby Diaz leading off for NC State.
Peyton doing a great job over on floor. Has a high energy routine, really well performed, great skills and a great lead off. Going to keep things rolling for George Washington.
Yeah, she's a floor specialist, so they really value her on this event. You put her out there first, set the tone. She did that with a 9.825 on Friday night. Would love to do the same here if she can.
Really nice duck dismount over on beam to kick things off for the Wolfpack.
All right, so Gabby Diaz has finished up and go back to bars now after Madison Brooks opened things up. This is Madison Durunda up second for the Owls.
Nice pack salto down to the low bar. So far, so good in this set. Blind full into a double tuck. Great dismount, chest came right up. I'll give that one a college stick as well.
Stepped into the salute just a bit, but another good hit routine on bars for Durunda. Up second on vault, Emma Davies.
Another Yurchenko full jump to the side, and as you can see, those white lines on the mat, she stepped outside of those. Those are new this year, and if I'm correct, Kevin, not an official deduction. It's sort of judge's discretion.
That is correct.
Whether they take a deduction based on where those gymnasts' feet land on their vaults. Obviously, you would like to stay inside of that long rectangle and not step outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little tick for that on that second spot up for the Quakers.
Yeah, it's not like stepping out on floor, neutral deduction, 1/10. It's not quite that cut and dry. You can take up to 3/10 for, a wild directional swing. And so it is up to the judges, as it is with so many things, the severity of the infraction. We'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, NC State has opened very nicely on beam with a 9.85 from Gabby Diaz. Up second is Macy Jennings, and up third for Temple on bars is Serena Whalen.
Starts out with the bail handstand directly back up to the high bar. She does her single bar release later. Inside, really nice handstand work there. Just gonna gear up for the dismount. Just a tiny hop, but a beautiful set for Serena. All the pieces were there, really nice shapes, really nice handstands, very well done.
Meanwhile, Kylie Kazmierski opens with a nice Rudy for George Washington on floor, a nice triple series from Macy Jennings on beam.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. The difficulty across these teams is, you can't deny that everyone's putting huge routines out there, and so it is going to come down to the way that they are performed, the sticks, the lines, the handstands, all of those things. And we unfortunately just saw a fall for NC State over on beam. Certainly not going to, help things, but we'll just put some pressure on the remainder of their lineup. Just as a quick reminder, in the second rotation here, it is 6 gymnasts up per team on each event, but only the top 5 scores count per event per team. So ideally that fall on beam will be a dropped score, and they will still have a nice, all-around event total to come out with.
Campbell Marr just finished on vault for Penn, and up on the bars for Temple is Hannah Stallings.
Another huge dismount with a stick, building some momentum over there on bars for sure. I can feel it from where I'm standing. And there was actually another fall over on GW, a little slip up on a pass. So putting some pressure on some of these lineups. There's a lot of energy in here, that is for certain. And I think that the rest of these lineups now on floor and beam have a little bit more pressure to make sure they're at least hit.
Yep.
No major errors to make sure that event total doesn't, ruin these leads that either GW has over the entire competition right now, or NC State, was ideally looking to make that jump into first place.
Yeah, and Temple, who opened in third, putting some pressure on both of those teams right now. And yeah, this is now the first time that NC State and GW have had to respond to a little bit of adversity tonight. It'll be very interesting to see how they do that here. They are both well positioned in both of these remaining lineups to do just that. Krista Zoltovich is going to be up third for NC State on beam, and Kendall Whitman, we mentioned she of the 3 E-level passes on floor. That's one that you want to keep a little bookmark in the bottom right corner of your screen as she gets going. But right now for Temple, up 5th on bars, sophomore Sarah Stallings.
A piked Jaeger, so she keeps those feet together for that whole move. Bailed a handstand down to the lower bar. Very well done.
That piked Jaeger is an E-level skill.
Going right after her sister. Blindfold. Double tuck. And just a tiny hop, and a really baby one, but a beautiful routine. Like I said, they're picking up some momentum over there for Temple on bars. A great event for them this season. And you can see exactly why. They've got high difficulty, clean lines. Things are looking really good.
All right, very critical routine now for NC State. Krista Zoltovich is up third on beam.
Yeah, and these athletes are so well trained at this point. It's just a mental thing to make sure that you stay focused, knowing there's a little extra pressure on you, but just doing the gymnastics that you know how to do. And so far, so good. That big flight series already done, handspring layout, step out.
Rose DeBarbery for Penn. Yurchenko layout full, very nice. Little hop back and maybe an extra half step there on the landing. Good distance off the table.
Yeah, and great body shape. I feel like I didn't see a ton of breaks, no bent knees or anything like that, which is always nice to see. The landings will come. Work through side aerial into a jump over on beam.
And now anchor bars on the top right of your screen. It's Temple's Ashley Glynn.
And speaking of an athlete that has all the pieces, she only a freshman but has huge skills. As you can see on bars, that Chapash was beautifully done. Giant full, little bit of leg separation, and a little bit softness on the landing, but got up and got through it to count another hit. I think as we talked about, Kevin, as freshmen go through, you just need them to build that confidence.
All right, and Kendall Whitman on floor open with that front handspring double front right into her second pass. Again, 3 E-level passes in this routine for Kendall Whitman.
She's not even breathing heavy.
It's unfair, right?
It is.
And she is in the exact same pressure spot that Zoltovich found herself following a fall for George Washington on floor. They score that they are going to try to drop a 9.175 from Kazmierski after an opening 9.8 from Peyton Lynch.
Yeah, and you're also just trying to build back the energy of your team. A fall can really suck the wind out of that, team energy that you're building. And when it does build, it's so much fun. And so far, so good for both teams. Front double full, beautiful.
Oh, and a really nice Yurchenko layout half as well over in the top left of your screen for Kirsten Belkoff as well.
George Washington definitely back on track. That routine is absolutely stunning. Not only difficult, but very well performed.
And we have an exhibition bars routine now for Temple. Brooke Donabedian won't count toward the team score, but Temple had a nice bar set overall.
Yeah, and Brooke, no stranger to the bar lineup, has been in the lineup before. Looks like she's made some upgrades from the last time that I have seen, connecting those skills together. And a nice hit for Brooke, a little hop on the landing, but great to see her out there, still flexing that bar muscle, if you will.
Let's get you caught up on the Temple bar scores while we have a quick moment. Actually, we'll go to beam now, and Lex Ortega on the beam for NC State.
Yeah, and a really unique series there. If you weren't watching closely, you probably missed it. She does a back handspring and then into a skill called an anodi, which is, starts backwards but midair turns and then comes out frontwards. So is very difficult, a little bit of a blind skill, but very well done. Doing it like she's walking down the sidewalk, which is always impressive. And what you're looking for on beam, the easier you can make it look, the typical, better scores you're going to get, much more enjoyable. She's doing a great job.
Anchor vault coming for Penn. This is Olivia Van Horn.
And Ortega grabbed a great stuck landing over there on beam as well. I think they're going to like that score.
And unfortunately for Penn, a fall on that final vault. And so just like that floor lineup, you get 5 hit vaults in front of you. You think you got your anchor going, a chance to really punctuate the end of that rotation. Unable to do so. Really difficult front handspring entry vault with that half twist coming off of it. But unfortunately, a fall there for Van Horn. On floor exercise now is Deanna Sharametta, talented freshman for George Washington.
Yeah, they really have such dynamic athletes over on floor. There's great tumbling, and they're all performing extremely well. I think people forget that, when you perform a floor routine, it has to go to all corners of the room. You really gotta, for us watching on a stream, you can see every movement, every little hand flick. But when you're in person, it's so important to kind of send that all the way out to the crowd, and they're doing a great job.
Kendall Whitman, by the way, had a 9.9 on her routine. So you want to talk about getting that momentum back, setting the table now for the rest of her teammates. You've got Deanna Sharametta, Deja Chambliss, and then Marley York in the anchor position for George Washington. So Whitman really an MVP right there.
Absolutely, and well-deserved.
All right, good routine from Sharametta as well. She had a season-high 9.9 on Friday night at home for GW.
Yeah, very impressive for a freshman. She seems like she's settling in really well. She's got incredible toe point, incredible lines. And like I said, just really dynamic floor performances.
She's got a sister competing at Missouri right now, so a heck of a lot of talent in the Sharametta family.
Yeah.
And it's an Easter egg for something we've got coming up for you as we talk about sisters. We mentioned the two Stallings back-to-back on the bars lineup for Temple. And now we come back to beam and Emily Shepard for NC State after a 9.9 from Lex Ortega.
Switch loop straddle half, had a bit of a bobble there, but was able to pull back up and, not fall off completely, but will be a little bit of a deduction there. Handspring layout, step out, right up, no issues there.
Exhibition vault, meanwhile, for Penn. Yurchenko tucked full. That was Ariana Agarwala.
Side aerial, beautifully done.
Getting started on floor now, Deja Chambliss for George Washington.
Yeah, as we mentioned, one of those all-around athletes to look at. Super talented, leading the Eagle in the all-around, doing an awesome job. Side aerial, back 1.5 on beam with a stick. Great job over there on NC State's really bringing back the heat in this second half of their lineup. Very well done.
They've gone 9-8, 7-5, 9-9 since that fall. Another good one from Shepard. Meanwhile, beautiful double pike opening pass from Deja Chambliss. Just so effortless, right into her second pass now.
Yeah, that back 1.5 layout. That layout goes, up higher than that back 1.5 did, which is always what you want to see, kind of an additional amplitude on that second skill when they are connecting kind of those two saltos. Share Meta only posted a 9.775, so it went a little bit down from that 9.9, but I still think that GW is building that momentum. I think that this can be a really great score. Double tuck to close it, right up, no issues. With a smile, always how you want to see it end, for sure. Nice. She is such a delight to watch.
Yeah, she's so good. Deja Chambliss, Eagle Gymnast of the Year, NCAA all-around individual qualifier, but she wants to take the rest of her team with her in 2023. Meanwhile, NC State, both NC State and GW had that early fall, but NC State has bounced back just a little bit stronger, and they're in position to retake the lead here. 9.85 from Emily Shepard, and this sets up Chloe Negrete in the anchor spot. Big, important routine right now for the Wolfpack.
Front aerial directly into a back handspring. That will count as her flight series, and very well done. Very difficult to do that, kind of change directions from front to back. But she certainly made it look easy, and as you mentioned, Kevin, tons of pressure on this routine. Looking to get one more hit so they can drop, and they'll have a huge number if that is the case.
Yeah, and I think they're well positioned. Bars, statistically, their weakest event. They got it out of the way first. They're going, and they're going to finish on their strongest event, vault. I think they are in really, really good shape right now. Meanwhile, Marley York getting ready to compete on floor exercise for GW. She is in the anchor position, up 6th.
Finishing out on beam, a huge round-up. Double twist, cold stuck.
She had plenty of time. She had time to check her phone for a text message or something before landing that one. My goodness.
That was beautiful. Whew. And was that a back triple twist to open things up. So again, hammering home that difficulty over on floor. Very well done, and extremely difficult pass to do.
You don't need to go to the SEC for E-level opening passes, or in Whitman's case, middle and closing passes as well.
And Deja's score just popped up, a 9.925. So huge bounce back number, very well deserved, setting things up for this final routine.
Season high 9.925 as well for Chambliss, well earned.
And things are going really well for Marley York here. One more pass to go. Back 1.5 layout, clean. One little step, but no issues with the step. And George Washington and NC State come out unscathed, despite, a little bit of a fumble within the middle of their lineup. So couldn't have asked for better outcomes, I think, for them, given that they had, a little bit of a fumble early on.
Yeah, how about NC State? They came back with 2 scores of 9.9 or higher, including a 9.925 from Negrete in the anchor position. This is an exhibition bars or beam routine now, Sophia Obregon.
Handspring layout, step out. Hard to tell from the angle, but had the slightest lean coming out of that flight series. Great switch side. We did cat leap into a side aerial with the tiniest of balance checks. Just gearing up for the dismount. Gainer full off the side and gets a stick. A really nice exhibition. You know, there is no pressure on those exhibition athletes, and she was able to work out some kinks, had a few balance checks, but still a hit routine to close out the second rotation.
Yeah, and boy, did they close it out in style. NC State, my goodness, they brought the heat after that fall. Since the Macy Jennings fall, 9.875 for Zoltovich, 9.9 for Ortega, 9.85 for Emily Shepard, season high 9.925 from Chloe Negrete in the anchor spot. Wow, that is a bounce back for NC State. You can see that beam score is up to the moment 98.375. They are on a season high pace, and they have grabbed first place in this quad meet. We will catch you up on all the scores as we come back here. We're going to take a break. We are halfway home here in McGonigal Hall. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Lauren Capone with you. Here is a look at our scores at the end of the second rotation, and pretty much everyone going to be very happy with where they sit right now. Halfway home, NC State in the lead, 98.375. George Washington in second, 98.150. Temple in third, 97.9, and Penn in fourth, 97.375 for those top three teams. NC State, George Washington, and Temple, they are on pace for season-high scores. Obviously not as easy to just take those numbers and double them, but it shows, Lauren, the quality of gymnastics so far has been extremely high. We saw some early mistakes from NC State and GW, but they successfully fought back from them. Penn has hurt themselves with 2 falls in their anchor position routines on both floor and vault, but they've got a chance to pick it back up on bars and beam as well, and everyone right squarely in this meet.
Absolutely, and for Temple especially, they're going into balance beam, a great event for them, and then they get to close things out on floor at home, which from my experience, and I think a lot of people's experience, is certainly the way you want to end any meet. Floor at home is nothing but energy and fun. So hopefully they'll get some big scores, and had a great floor day on Friday. So just going to carry over that momentum to a home setting and hopefully even build upon what they put together on Friday. Yeah, we will talk some more about Temple on floor from Friday night a little later on. They've got a solve beam coming up in the third rotation. And, Lauren, we talked about the Stalling sisters who went back-to-back in the beam lineup for Temple. They are twins, both sophomores, but Temple is outdone in the sister department tonight. You look at these sets of siblings, Penn with 3, the Garretts, Kenneficks, and Mars all on the roster together. It's shocking to see all put together, but how cool that you have sort of this connected through line through all of your gymnasts, and it has to feel good to have a built-in buddy on top of having a whole team right behind you. And I don't know if we've seen all of these sisters from Penn go tonight, but it's certainly cool to know that they're all kind of there putting things together, supporting each other, having that extra level of family support, and it makes it easy for the parents, I have to have to imagine. Yes, you've got the Sheramettas who have to split their time between D.C. and Columbia, Missouri. So not quite down the street. This way you can keep it local for sure, and they must like each other. If you make the decision to come to the, to come to the same school, you gotta have a pretty good relationship on top of it. Exactly. All right, well, let's take a break. Third rotation on the way. Temple on beam, NC State on floor, George Washington on vault, and Penn on bars when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Lauren Capone with your Sunday night gymnastics in Philadelphia. It has been a great meet thus far. Quad meet, Temple, NC State, George Washington all out of the Eagle, Penn out of the GEC. And we get ready to head to the third rotation where Temple will be on beam, NC State on floor, George Washington on vault, and Penn
on bars. And, as we said, Lauren, right now, Temple, NC State, and George Washington all tracking on season highs if they can keep it up right now. And Temple, goes to a make-or-break event, the balance beam, which broke their hearts on Friday night. But 2 days later, this is the beauty of a double meet weekend. You get a chance to get right back on it and get back into the swing of things here as they are opening up with Amanda Sherman on the balance beam to start.
Yeah, absolutely clean slate, or maybe not quite right now. Open things up. That beautiful triple series, it's so impressive. Actually, Temple has a handful of triple series in their lineup, but just overdid it a little bit and ended up coming off. Similar situation to GW and NC State. You get sort of that early on fall, puts a little bit of extra pressure on the rest of the lineup. And hopefully Temple will be able to really pull it around and get 5 counting scores.
Sarah Zoyce, a sky-high Yurchenko layout full, but took a very big hop back out of it.
I watched that, and it really did beautiful in the air and just kind of hit a little bit of a sunk on the way back.
Yes. And now on floor exercise getting started for NC State, our leaders in tonight's meet, Gabby Diaz.
Double pike to open things up. Beautifully done. Great leap. She's got great lines. And important, obviously, when you choreograph these routines to kind of play up your strengths, right? And if you've got great lines like that, good to show them off. Front layout, front full. Penn off and running on bars.
Yep, that is Sarah Kenefick, one of those sisters. Her sister Anna is also on the Penn roster.
Yeah, and so far, so good. Nice hit handstand. Giant full. And a super unique back double full. Grabs a stick to open things up. Pumped up about it, as she should be.
And a really nice double tuck third pass from Gabby Diaz. Really controlled landing, sky high, excellent opening routine. NC State has just got it rolling right now. They are looking very good. Back over to GW on vault. Up second, Rachel Katz.
Another huge vault. So much power, amplitude. Yurchenko layout half, but didn't quite spot the landing. Over-rotated a bit. Had another big jump step out of that.
All right, pressure routine right now for Temple, but they've got the right person up there, Juliana Rowland, who is not in the beam lineup on Friday. She is back in tonight. She's a fifth year. They've got to limit the miles and the routines that they ask her to do at this time of year, and this is probably who you want if you're Temple following a fall.
Absolutely. Gets that flight series right up. Can take a little bit of an exhale after that big chunk is done. But yeah, I mean, she is like a machine at this point in a fifth year. Side aerial beat jump, keeping things moving, keeping it steady. Beat jump, split 3/4.
Up on bars now, Emma Davies for Penn as Rowland gets ready to finish up.
Nice blindfold double tuck over as the dismount with just a step. Rowland back 1.5 with just a hop. Exactly what they needed. Didn't need to shoot for the moon. Absolutely just nailed exactly what she needed to do, and Temple is back on track to keep things rolling for the rest of this lineup.
Yep, they'll try to keep that going. Ashley Glynn, Madison Durunda, Hannah Stallings, and Brooke Donabedian. Wow, we've had a lengthy delay for NC State in between the first and second floor routine, and all right. Maybe some
audio
issue, it looks like, with the music. You've got assistant coach Phil Ogletree there, as we had a vaulter up third for George Washington. That is Marley York, Yurchenko layout full.
And seemed to have figured out the landing. Really, really nice. Not a small hop on her Yurchenko full landing, but certainly much more in control, smaller than her previous two teammates who had those larger jumps. So you should see a little bit of a score jump for Marley.
Yeah, both of those went 9.675. Back on the bars now. Up third for Penn is Marissa Lassiter.
Straddled Jaeger. Bail down to the low bar, hits that handstand, nicely done. Just the dismount. Two giants. Unfortunately under rotates, puts her hands down on that one, but a great routine otherwise. Again, high difficulty and was doing really, really well. Just a little bit of endurance and pulling that dismount around.
Up on the beam, a big break on the series from Ashley Glynn. Back handspring layout, step out, had to take a big break at the hips. Could be a deduction, but again, good fight to stay on, and that is really paramount for Temple right now after an opening fall. Juliana Rowland bounced back with a 9.8, up second on floor after that delay is Lexa Ortega. And on vault is Kendall Whitman, big Yurchenko layout full.
And a stick.
That is not Whitman, that is Deja Chambliss, so they must have flipped them back in the lineup.
Yeah, but very well done, like I said. Marley and Deja both figuring out those landings, and so did Ashley Glynn over on that dismount, making up for some, on-beam little balance checks with a stuck gainer full there on the side. Once again, doing exactly what the Owls need, just getting hit routines, trying to build up that confidence and building some momentum in the lineup.
All right, Penn following a fall on bars, trying to bounce back Kristen Kuhn.
Ortega finished things up on floor, layout front full. Huge connection over on bars. Just the dismount, huge, just a hop back, gets Penn back on track. Very well done. High difficulty over there for the Quakers on bars.
Yeah, everyone has had those nice bounce back routines where they've needed them, and this is Kendall Whitman on the vault, doing the Whitman.
Very cool. So she has a front entry on to the vault, front handspring really, and then that pike half off the back, just a small hop. But a very unique, very cool vault. I'm always going to shout out the front vaulters, as I was one. You see a lot more these days. I think I watched a meet the other day where 5 of the 6 gymnasts did front vaults.
Wow.
I was thrilled.
Yes. I think there has been a little bit of a swing back, a reversion from the mean of the, Yurchenko layout fulls, which obviously part of the idea behind devaluing them in the quota points down to a 9.95. That was the idea, more diversity, but anytime you're putting in a skill named for yourself, that is as cool as it gets, and she does it incredibly well, much better than she did on Friday night. Triple series on beam for Madison Durunda back to Temple.
Really well done, and I've seen her hit that over and over and over again. It's almost automatic for her.
Bars now for Penn is Carly Oniki. Unfortunately, a fall there, and Penn will have to count one here on the uneven bars.
It looks like Ashley Glynn put up a 9.725 for her routine, so still putting up great numbers. Just got to keep things together. Cartwheel, back 1.5, just a hop, but otherwise super clean from Maddie Durunda. That triple series will always give a nice exclamation point. It's so well done.
And up third on floor is Krista Zoltovich. Big opening pass.
And clean stuck, too. She did that back 1.5, punch front, no movement.
Speaking of clean stuck, it might have been for Hannah Munnelly as well on that Yurchenko tuck full. I don't know that I saw anything there on the landing.
From the corner of my eye, it certainly did look like a stick. GW coming back well. I mean, not that they've had any falls, but those first 2 vaults, like I said, had those kind of big steps, leaps forward trying to find landings, and they're now really finding those sweet spots.
Yep, they are through in the competition lineup. They will have an exhibition vault.
Double tuck on floor, nicely done.
Well done there by Zoltovich. And NC State is halfway home on floor exercise. Lauren Rutherford, Emily Shepard, and Chloe Negrete will finish it out. Score for Madison Durunda, 9.825. That's the high mark so far for Temple, and they've done well after the opening fall. 9.8 from Roland, 9.725 from Glenn, 9.825 from Durunda. Here is Hannah Stallings up 5th.
Switch leap, straddle quarter. I love how deliberate Hannah is. You can tell that she really puts a lot of thought into every inch of, every step that she takes on beam. Has been a consistently great beam worker going into her flight series. Handspring layout, step out right up, fights for it, does a very good job.
And she and Donna Bedian, who's in the anchor spot, have both had 9-9 routines this year, so capable of big numbers in these closing positions.
Comes off on the side aerial. So unfortunately, similar to Penn, Temple is looking at counting a fall on beam. And it was hard to see from this angle exactly what went wrong there. Dismount back, handspring 1.5, and a couple steps. Just a little off on that side aerial coming out of the jump, almost like her leg wasn't fully solid enough and caught up with her.
Exhibition vault for GW, and now on bars. Important routine here for McKaylee Marr in the anchor position after already having to count a fall. Want to get a good number here from your anchor, the veteran senior Marr.
Yeah, she had a great shapash back to an immediate bail. Double layout. And a tiny hop. A nice way to finish that lineup, really bring things back with a solid hit.
All right, NC State up 4th on floor exercise. Lauren Rutherford.
Back 2.5 punch front. Very nicely done. They've been having a real party over there on floor. Lots of high energy routines from NC State. It's been fun.
Scores so far for NC State on floor exercise. Gabby Diaz opened with a 9.8. Lex Ortega up second, 9.775. Krista Zoltovich, 9.75. They're trying to build those numbers back up here. Rutherford.
Yeah, probably looking for some of those numbers above the 9.8 threshold.
Rutherford's gone 9-9 on floor this year. She's capable. And Donna Bedian is on the top right of your screen now. Very important beam routine for Temple.
Yeah, Donna Bedian has, as you mentioned, ability to go very high score. Obviously with a little added pressure in this routine, but the benefit of being at home on your own equipment hopefully come into play. Front aerial, two-way back handspring, back handspring. Nicely done. A cat leap into a side summy and straight up, no movement. Looking locked in for Brooke over on beam. Jump series done very well. She even takes her eyes off the beam, a little bit of a blind landing on that jump for some added difficulty, and just gearing up for her dismount. Round off, back 1.5, gets the stick. Another great exclamation point for the Owls. not the 6-for-6 rotation that they wanted, but was able to get some really strong routines up there. I think Brooks' routine will have a nice score, and they will end up counting one of their routines that ended up coming off with a fall.
All right, and back to floor exercise now for NC State after a 9.825 for Rutherford finishing up. That is the high number right now for NC State. They've been in this high 9.7, low 9.8 range. Oh, a 9.9 from Donna Beatty, and she'll match her season high on beam. So a nice note to end on, but unfortunately, it's a low 48 for Temple, their first real big mistake of the meet. Emily Shepard now opening with a beautiful double pike.
And we will get an exhibition routine from Renee Shugman on beam for Temple. Over back on floor, front lay, front full, nicely done.
And Temple in exhibition on your left. NC State on your right.
Double tuck. Well done. Another great hit for NC State. Setting things up for their anchor. But Emily Shepard, solid hit routine. Very, very well done.
Well, NC State very well positioned right now after a 49.4 on beam. Floor has not gotten quite back to that range, but they're in good shape as Shugman finishes up on her dismount, round off 1.5. And that NC State 49.4 on beam is a season high. So we followed it up nicely here on floor with one routine left. That is Chloe Negrete. Negrete had a 9.925 on beam, so already off to a good start tonight, trying to keep it rolling here on floor exercise. Josh Nielsen talking with his team, and for the second time, you know, Lauren, in 3 nights, it's not as bad as it was when they had 3 falls on Friday night, but obviously disappointing. It's likely taken themselves out of the competition tonight. They won't have much of a chance to catch GW or NC State the way that those teams are going right now, provided they can keep that up in their 4th rotation. But, you know, as we've said, floor has really been the big bugaboo for them to try to figure out this year, and I think it's still a valuable night, even though it's not going to be the overall team score that they might want, to try to put together a good performance here on floor.
Yeah, and as we've discussed earlier, I think it's a bit of a symptom of having a younger team. It takes a little bit to figure some of those kinks out and get in a rhythm and be super confident in your routines, meet in and meet out, and figure out, you know, how you best perform. So all the pieces are there. It's just a matter of really, really figuring things out from a confidence level for them and putting it all together in one meet at one time.
All right, glad we get to be full screen for this one. Should be good. Chloe Negrete, who has gone 9.925 this season on floor.
Huge double pike. More of an open double pike, which is very impressive. Coming off of Emily Shepard's 9.875, set up for a big number for sure.
Yeah, right now, NC State is at a 49.025 on floor. So again, above that 49 mark, they are definitely tracking on a mid-196. And they're going to go to vault, which is their best event in the final rotation.
full front layout, textbook, so clean. Final pass, back double tuck, right up, no movement. Locked in over there on floor. Chloe Negrete closing it out for the Wolfpack in style.
Yeah, I mean, what a steady night for NC State. They had that one fall on beam in the second position, but other than that, every counting score has been 9.75 or higher. They're consistently in that, 9-8 range. They're getting a couple of 9-9s here and there in the back half of their lineup. It's exactly how you want to draw it up, and they're pacing on a season-high score. Their high score so far this year was a 196.650. They'll be right back in that range again, and as we said, their strongest event is actually vault, where they're going to finish up in the final rotation. So they're in great shape right now. As you can see, GW's right there as well, 147.1. They're only 0.3 back, and they are on pace for another season high. They should be looking at their first 196 of the season if they can keep this up.
Yeah, right now things are looking great for those two teams. They've been really impressive. I can't talk enough about the difficulty. It really has been the standout for me thus far, 3 events in. But I'm very excited to see Temple home floor routine after what looks to be an exhibition here for NC State.
Yep, we will have Haley Merchant in exhibition. The score for Negrete is a 9.875. It's a 49.150 for NC State on floor.
Double pike, a little bit of a shaky step back, just need a little bit more control, but really great chest position and height and position in the air. Second pass, front Rudy, well done. And it looks like it will be one more pass. Close out the NC State floor party that they have been having for sure. Back 1.5, front layout, well done, pulls it around. Showing off that depth on floor for the Wolfpack. Could have easily been a routine that they put in that lineup and got a great score.
Yeah, the question is, where do you put her? Because they've got so much depth. That is a really tough top 6 to crack into. And yeah, when you can go 7 deep with that kind of strength, shows you why NC State is where they are right now. 147.525 in the lead. By 4 1/4 over George Washington, who is in second, 147.1. Temple, counting a fall on beam, falls to 146.050. They are 0.4 ahead of Penn going into the final rotation. So plenty left to see how it plays out here in McGonigal Hall. We've got the 4th rotation on the way when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Kopp, Lauren Capone with you here in McGonigal Hall, the home of the Temple Owls, currently in 3rd place. Temple, after counting a fall on balance beam, suffering their first real bad break of the night. And NC State and George Washington pulling away from the pack right now. NC State 147.525. 147-1 for GW, 4 1/4 tenths back, and then a big gap over a point back to Temple in third, 146.050. They are 4 tenths ahead of Penn, who also had to count a fall on bars, 145.650 for the Quakers. So that is where things stand at the end of the third rotation. NC State, George Washington tracking at or near season high pace here on the road in Philadelphia. But Temple heads to floor exercise. Lauren, obviously they hoped that they could have set themselves up a little bit better for this off of the performance on balance beam. That wasn't to be, but they've got a chance here on their home floor to solve what has been a persistent issue for them on floor, but it was not an issue on Friday night. They had a terrific performance, not just their best of the year, but one of the best in program history on floor at George Washington on Friday night. Here it is, tied for the 4th highest floor score in school history with a 49.3. 5 of their 6 gymnasts earning at least a 9.8, and you had 3 personal bests. Ashley Glynn made her floor debut with a 9.825, obviously a season best there, but Renee Shugman 9.9, and Madison Durunda with a 9.8. Just great performances top to bottom.
Yeah, and clearly something clicked, and hopefully whatever clicked on Friday is still in place, and we can sort of do a copy-paste and maybe even get a couple extra tenths here, really inch up that 49.3 would be the goal. With the home crowd behind you, your home equipment, you're set up for success here on this floor rotation, and not ideal beam run for the Owls, but under a little pressure here on floor. I think they're going to fight for every 10th, and a little bit of now like a tale of 2 duels between Temple and Penn.
Yep.
And GW and NC State. I think Temple's still going to make a run for as many points as they can, as many tenths as they can to hold off Penn and stay in that 3rd position going into this final event. Yeah, and the irony of these last couple meets is floor has been on the way up. Beam has been on the way down. Beam has been statistically Temple's strongest event all year. They're number 33 in the country on beam. So we'll see what the Owls can do on floor in the final rotation. Let's take a break and come back. NC State finishing on vault, George Washington on bars, Penn on beam, and Temple on floor when we return. Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Kopp, Lauren Capone with you here in McGonigal Hall. What a fun quad meet it has been here on Sunday night. Lauren, I feel like I've got the whole weekend in front of me. You're not used to a Sunday night quad meet. I'm feeling like this is Friday. I got 2 days off of work. I'm ready to relax, and we're going to be back at it at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Listen, I was wondering why there were so many people here. It is President's Day tomorrow, so maybe,
that's right.
A couple people have off.
Yeah.
They can kick back, enjoy some Sunday night gymnastics.
Yeah, I may need to celebrate the Presidents tomorrow myself.
You should.
Well, this has been a great Sunday evening. 3 Eagle teams, George Washington, NC State, and Temple, and Penn out of the GEC. And as Lauren alluded, we basically have 2 duels here in the final rotation. NC State and George Washington looking to take our honors tonight, and Temple and Penn unfortunately having to count falls in a little bit of a battle for 3rd. Getting started on floor is Summer Ruski for Temple.
She goes front through to double tuck, nicely done. As we mentioned, Friday night, a real highlight was the floor lineup. Summer led off with a 9.85 on Friday, so we'll see if she can do it again.
NC State's Gabby Diaz a little short on that Yurchenko layout full, had to take a step forward, chest down on the landing. Meanwhile, on the uneven bars, Annalise Silverman getting started for GW, and on the beam is Kirsten Belkoff for Penn.
A huge combination over on bars, blind change, Jaeger directly to a shoot over, and a stuck dismount, a great start. GW is going to put the gas on, really try to take home this win. They were flat out awesome on bars at home in DC on Friday night. They had 5 season highs, season best 49.175. If they can do that, then they push NC State a little bit. We'll see. Summer's going to close things out over on floor with a double pike. Really nicely done. I've seen huge improvements in that pass in particular for her. She's got so much more control. Really exciting start for the Owls lineup over on floor. Yeah, excellent job by Ruski.
You know, you look at the talent in this floor lineup, you say there's no reason that this is, you know, such an anomaly in Temple's weakest event. It really comes down to consistency. Up second after a great start from Silverman, here is Rachel Katz. And then on vault, Krista Zoltovic.
Another short landing over on vault. Kind of same thing.
Yeah.
Huge Tkachev over on bars. Good dismount, step back on the landing, but another hit over there for GW.
Meanwhile, Belkoff started with a 9.85 on beam. Up second, Alyssa Rosen. And you know, Lauren, I'm wondering, obviously this is a dangerous game to start theorizing, but you know, sometimes you see those steps short when you're trying just a little too hard to be perfect, a little too hard to get that stick. You know, we're in that final month, as we started the night by saying, where you want to clean up those landings, you want to start going for more sticks, but not at the expense of, this is a really good, really powerful NC State team on vault. You don't want to take away from what you do so well.
At the risk of taking my own credentials away, I can tell you, any stick I ever had, I certainly wasn't trying. There's something about just going into an event, a skill, just trusting the way that you do it normally, and then it sort of happens naturally.
That's really well said.
But yeah, you're exactly right. If you fish for it a little too much, it always causes some issues, I think.
All right, up second on floor, Madison Durunda.
Little bit of a clipped heel over on bars.
It's Deja Chambliss up third. Not where you would expect to see a mistake from GW.
Now, and she managed to stay on the bars, but there will be a hefty deduction for all of the kind of break in the action, but ends up getting a stuck dismount to save some of those tens. Really, that is professional work to be able to kind of come back mid-routine from a stumble and stick a dismount. Very well done.
Yeah, she is a real pro, fifth year for George Washington. Meanwhile, we saw the best vault so far, Lex Ortega. Big, open Yurchenko layout full. Hop backward on the landing, but I think Kim Landris would be just fine with that at the moment after those two short vaults to open the lineup.
And Maddie Durunda over on floor, moving along very well, keeping things clean. Layout to a front Rudy, expertly done. And that will mark 2 for 2 for the Owls so far on floor.
Speaking of 2 for 2, how about Penn starting 9.85, 9.875 on the balance beam? A nice wolf turn from Kristen Kuhn, who's up third. Meanwhile, Hannah Munnelly, the senior, up fourth for George Washington on bars. And NC State with a big Yurchenko layout, full vault. Lauren Rutherford hop back on the landing.
Another hit for GW, just a hop back on that dismount. And yeah, Penn just absolutely lights out over there on beam so far.
Now, NC State and George Washington, who entered this rotation separated by 4 1/4 tenths. GW definitely putting some heat on right now after the slow start on vault for NC State. Ortega, though, picked it up with a 9.8 after a 9.55 and a 9.625. But there is an opening right now for GW. We'll see if they can walk through it with their last bars routines.
Another great routine for Penn. Back handspring, back full. Just a slight hop, but everything else lights out on that routine. I expect another big score actually over there from the Quakers. It was a beautiful routine. Showed off a lot of flexibility too. I just love to see, speaking of variety, we touched on it earlier, but you know, I love to see variety. Girls showing off, you know, exactly their unique strengths on each event. It's always good to see.
Temple has started 9.875, 9.82 high. Look at that sky-high Ginger over on bars for Libby Garfoot.
Yeah, and directly into the bail down to the low bar.
Oh my goodness. That vault. Wow.
And it's stuck dismount on bars. We're just tossing sticks around now. Saved the best for last, literally.
Emily Shepard, my goodness. Beautiful sky-high Yurchenko layout full. Libby Garfoot, former Penn Quaker, incidentally, back here with GW, sticking her bars dismount. She knows the building well.
Yeah, that was a lights out routine. Things going well over on floor for Temple.
Yes, up third, Anna Hill.
These bar routines and vaults seem to be going at the exact same time over and over again.
Can we at least stagger those for our sake so we can watch Maddie McMullen? This is the final competition routine for GW.
Pack salto down low bar. Anna Hill, great floor routine, ended with the double pike there, closed things out really nicely.
Chloe Negrete, final vault for NC State, gets the stick.
And a huge, I mean, sky high Yurchenko full. She had 2 days to find that landing. And another stuck landing for GW over on bars.
Oh my goodness.
Team going absolutely nuts as they should. That bar lineup was impeccable.
Yeah, and we went the last 2 vaults and 2 bars routines. So Shepard and Negrete for NC State, Garfoot and McMullen literally stick, 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 stick within about 90 seconds. Awesome, awesome finishes. We got to see where the dust settles on these scores. I don't know. I think NC State did enough with those last 2 to overcome that slow start. I think they're going to have enough, but I think George Washington is going home with a season high score.
Absolutely, and well-deserved. I couldn't say enough about, how impressive their entire performance has been, but especially this bar lineup. It was action-packed. It just didn't stop. And they had tons of sticks, high difficulty, really well done.
Whew. All right.
I know.
Refocus here, I know.
My heart rate.
All right, Alicia Werlin up 4th. By the way, Penn, don't look now, 985, 9875, 985, first 3 routines. Temple's been in that strata as well as Ashley Glynn gets ready to finish her night in the all-around up 4th for Temple. Exhibition vault and exhibition bars right now as well.
And another hit routine for Penn. I did catch a couple bounce checks in that routine. Beautiful front double full, flipping over the floor. Ashley Glynn, great job. I certainly think that Ashley is one of those athletes to watch over at Temple. Again, only a freshman, but her quality of gymnastics is so high, and with high difficulty from what I've seen of her. Just got to find some of that college confidence. I think she's going to have a really, really good future here. Front layout, front full, so nice. Had a tiny hop out of that pass, but so clean. A great performance for Ashley to close out her day. She had a couple small things in her day, but for a freshman competing in the all-around, I think she should be really happy with today's performance.
Yeah, and just the second time in her career. The first time was 48 hours ago on Friday night, so looking really, really impressive. The future is just sky high for her. Back on beam now after a 9.725 from Alicia Werlin. We've got the Marr sisters, Campbell and McKaylee, will be the final 2 competitive routines for Penn tonight.
Poetic.
Yes.
For all of our talk of sisters. And that score for Werlin is really the first one below a 9.8 for Penn on beam. And looking really good thus far for Campbell. Looks like just a dismount. Back handspring, gainer full with the stick. Held it for emphasis, as you should. Quaker's absolutely on fire on beam.
Yeah, they have had a really, really nice beam. With 1 to go, McKaylee Marr will finish up. And as you can see, the scores now come up on the screen. Those are your final unofficial scores for NC State and GW. So NC State 196.475, not a season high. Weren't quite able to push that vault total where we have seen them do it earlier this year, but 196.475 on the road for NC State, that is not going to hurt you. They're going to be just fine with that going back to Raleigh and a quad meet win. GW, meanwhile, good consolation prize, second place, but season high score, and they get it on the road, season high score. So that's going to really, really help. 196.075 first time. They have passed 196 this year. On floor now for Temple, Renee Shugman up 5th.
Renee has been a mainstay in this lineup and has always done a very solid job. I think I saw Ashley's score come up as a 9.85, so really building things for the second half of Temple's lineup here.
By the way, Campbell Marr just scored a 9.95 on beam.
Wow.
Wow.
Receiving, yeah, a 9.95 from both judges. Shugman having some fun with her teammates over on the sideline there.
All right, last beam routine is McKaylee Marr, and how about this? Campbell Marr with that 9.95 ties her sister, McKaylee, for the all-time Penn program record with a 9.95.
Man,
pretty cool.
Do you think they'll beef about that later? You can't just let me have this one thing.
She's going 9.975 right now in her mind, at least.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. And Shugman with a cold stock double pike to close out her routine, keeping things so tight over on floor.
Yeah, good finish. Back handspring layout, step out series for Marr was perfect, straight up.
Same with the side aerial. Haven't seen a single thing yet. Switch leap straddle quarter. Also no movement.
Straddle quarter, way above 180 split. Just, it's really textbook beam.
Yeah, putting on a clinic. Dismount back handspring, gainer full, grabs the stick. You have to go up. You have to go up.
You know, she's got 9.95 twice, and you can see Penn's calling for it. And I mean, you got a 9.95 in front of you, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Scores all over the place right now. 9.925 from Renee Shugman. And that sets up Brooke Donabedian. So if you want 10 watch, you got it on both events right now. So we got both Mars in the all-time Penn record book. And this, by the way, is going to be the all-time Penn beam record. It's going to beat what they did at GEC's last year, which was a 49.250. This is sure to be above that, so it's a new all-time Penn program record on beam. And now the final competition routine for Temple. Brooke Donabedian. We will have an exhibition for Penn, and we will have an exhibition for Temple, and then we will leave you. 9.95 for McKaylee Marr from both judges.
And we've got sisters hugging on the sidelines.
That's awesome.
It is so cool.
Awesome. All right, Donabedian, who is one to watch on floor.
She goes front Rudy to a back layout step out in the most effortless way possible. I love that pass so much. Another one whose quality of movement, quality of gymnastics is just so good. From her fingertips to her toe point, she's so intentional with every piece of this routine, including the tumbling, which is just as difficult to match the great artistry that she has.
All right, exhibition routine on your left for Penn. Brooke Donabedian on your right for Temple.
And a very impressive series there for Penn. It was a handstand to an immediate layout, step out, layout, step out.
This is Isabella Garrett.
Brooke going to close things out over on floor with some high difficulty. A front double full, so well done. She's really become so solid on this event. Lights out, great anchor spot for the Owls.
And a really nice finish, and you got to give Temple credit. They're going to be disappointed overall tonight because this could have been an extremely high score for them. Could have been a really big number at home, but you have to give credit where credit's due because 2 meets in a row now, they had a really disappointing beam, didn't let that snowball into floor, which has been a weaker event for them this year. They're starting to own floor, and it's a matter of time before they put the pieces together and deliver the kind of 4-event meet I know this coaching staff believes they're capable of.
Absolutely, and I hope that we see, a nice big score for Brooke here. We will have an exhibition. And from what I could tell, it looks like it's going to be a copy-paste 9925 for Donna Bedian.
And if it is, it will top what Temple did on Friday, 9925 indeed. Shugman and Donna Bedian both go 9925. Those are season highs for both. And it's a 49.4 for Temple on floor exercise, new season best and one of the best in program history.
Yeah, and the 195. 3.5 even, that was their kind of before Brooks' score got put in. That mid 195 is certainly a score that they should be happy with overall. But, to your point, Kevin, what was kind of left out there on the floor, the what ifs kind of creep in. If we would have had sort of that one score or that one less fall on beam, how would that have played out to get even more points, especially as we go into this NQS portion of the gymnastics season.
Charlie Boehner here in exhibition for Temple to finish up, and as it is, it's a 195.350. It'll tick up by a 10th here because of Donna Bedian's number as it comes up there, 195.450. That's a season best score for Temple, counting a fall.
Yeah, so as we've discussed, all the pieces are there. It's a matter of, going for 4 clean events, 6 for 6. On all of those events, 24 for 24 is the goal, and if they do that, I think you'll see some huge scores from Temple with great young talent. Charlie doing great. She's got high difficulty. Really nice leap combination that she just wrapped up. Back 1.5 front layout, so clean, very well done. She had a little bit of a stumble on her first pass, but for an exhibition and for a freshman, beautifully done. Nice way to close out the official competition for the evening for the Owls.
No doubt. All right, we're going to take one final break and come back to wrap this one up. Don't go anywhere. Final scores when Lauren and I return. What a Sunday night it was here at McGonigal Hall. Quad meet with Temple, NC State, GW, and Penn, and we had program records, we had season highs, we had it all, most of it just in the 4th rotation. Kevin Kopp, Lauren Capone with you as we welcome you back here. Final scores are in, and NC State gets the victory today, 196-475 for the Wolfpack. Not a season high, but close to it. And it was a great road score, Lauren, for them. Season high for George Washington, 196.075 as they take second. Temple season high despite counting a fall on beam, 195.450. And Penn not far off of the season high, actually, because of a program record on the balance beam, 195.125 in 4th place. Everyone's got something they can take from this. Useful scores as we transition to NQS, as you said. And this is kind of setting the table for the home stretch. We're just a month away from conference championships, and these teams will look to take some of this and build on it.
Exactly. I think every team can come out of this meet with something good that they can say, hey, let's do that again. And also, all of these teams had a couple things where they should say, hey, let's not do that again. There was definitely no one had a perfect meet, but a lot of good to be celebrated. And really, my takeaway from the day is certainly the difficulty across all 4 of these teams. It's so nice to see how difficult the routines are from all of these gymnasts and that they're also performing them with such high quality.
Penn with a program record 49.475 on beam in the 4th and final rotation. Temple with a program record 49.4 on floor, but NC State grabs the top honors tonight, 196.475. All right, that's going to do it for us here at McGonigal Hall. For my partner, Lauren Capone, I'm Kevin Cott saying so long, everyone, from Philadelphia, where NC State gets the quad meet victory with a 196.475. All meets are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Philadelphia.